I have this hard molding paste from Golden, and this is what I use to prime canvases because I like to minimize the canvas texture. The hard molding paste makes a nice, really solid ground for painting and for drawing. Here I'm just applying it with a brush to an 8x8 sheet of printmaking paper. You could also use a palette knife like this. Once the molding paste is dry, I'm going to paint a ground of bright, let's see, pyrrole red and pyrrole orange. Start with the red. And I use the fluid acrylics a lot. I also use the tube heavy body acrylics. But for this sort of painting, doing a ground, the fluids are particularly convenient because you can just pour the paint out onto the paper and then spread it around with a brush. And now that the red is dry, I'm going to do the same with pyrrole orange. The pyrrole orange is transparent somewhat, so you'll see the red through it. It'll just give it a little more luminosity and depth than if I were to mix the two colors and apply them in one coat. There, and we'll let that dry. So here I have Golden's open acrylic. It's a teal, which is an opaque color, which you can tell because the slash of paint across the three black slashes obscures the black slashes. Okay, so I could use this straight, in which case it'll take forever to dry, or I can mix it with a little soft gel, which is not an open product. It dries the regular rate that other acrylics dry. So that's one option. If I want to extend the paint and make it dry a little bit faster. If I don't want to extend the paint, I can mix the open acrylic with the regular acrylic in the same color. Now this will be a stronger color because it's not extended with a transparent medium. But it will also dry a little faster than the open on its own. So now I'm going to paint the open. This is the open mixed with the soft gel. Now that has really good coverage. These paints have just really a nice dense pigment load. So even though I mixed it with a transparent medium, it has really good opacity. And just for fun, let's do the other side using the open mixed with regular heavy body acrylic. I'll just leave a little line between them. So that's sort of an extra little bit of information. The main reason I wanted to do this is to show you this drawing through the open acrylic. And of course you can draw through any acrylic, but the open is particularly good because you have this real open drying time, so you can take your time with this. This technique is called sgraffito. Scratching through. And it's working particularly well here because I've chosen to use a bright color underneath. Well, a bright color and then its complement over it. So this is sort of an orangey red and this is kind of a greeny blue on top. So use some different instruments. The finer point, see what happens. Oh yeah. This knife, make an even finer point. A push pin. Let me just try this rubber comb. Oh yeah. Call that it. So I'm going to try the same thing using transparent colors in the open acrylics. I have quinacridone gold, I have Van Dyke brown, and sap green hue, which is fairly transparent. And just to put some paint down on the substrate. Now here I'm using the paint full strength, so this will take officially forever to dry. This is the Van Dyke brown. I'll leave it at 2 colors for now. And then you can work in subtractive techniques. Q-tip. And with the subtractive techniques, you can get kind of a range of values. You can take off some of the paint. So I've got a dark value here, a mid-range value, and then where I take off all the paint, like where the lines are, or I could do that with a cloth, you can get right back to the white. So you can get some nice subtlety here. And use the same techniques we did with the opaque paint, using the knitting needle and so forth. But unlike the opaque paint, the transparent paints allow you this range of value because you can see through them. And you could apply more paint, get back to the dark. You can obliterate anything you just did. And let's try this sap green. So here I'm just softening the edge of this line. So this is no masterpiece, and I haven't really found my own way with these materials, but I just thought it was a kind of cool aspect of them that you might find useful for your work. If you want to work really slowly and have a lot of time with the paint being quite workable, these open acrylics are fantastic.